Hello everyone, welcome to another Take a Peek episode. This week, we are taking a peek at Bionic Dues, a dystopian, roguelike, futuristic RPG game about robots. Here we're looking at the settings real quick. Settings are fairly standard, nothing too special to really show off here. It's very standard for an Arkin games. You can put up the FPS counter if you want, and then there's some very, very basic graphical controls, but by and large, as all Arkin games are, what you see is what you get, and that will definitely come in handy here. So let's go ahead and jump into a save, and this is all post-recording. I recorded this a few months ago, back I believe in February, when I recorded this little bit of footage here. So this is the basic map of Bionic Dues here. So you can see you can move around the map a little bit. There's not a whole lot of scrolling you have to do. And there are three big things to look at on the map itself right now. We have the little check mark boxes. Those are completed missions. We have different yellow missions that we can currently get to. So like the parts fab, for example, or the propulsion lab. We can get to both of those. And then we have the orange missions like destruction and the shield works. We can't actually get to those quite yet because we've not completed enough missions far enough in that direction to get there. So that does mean that if you wanted to, you could draw a straight line and just completely ignore everything on the fringe and just try and get through to the other side of the city as fast as possible. However, there is no real benefit to doing that. The way the map is structured and the way everything is laid out, the missions are all they're laid out procedurally generated fashion. So if you beeline it, you're not any more likely to encounter anything better than if you were to spread out, kind of like you see what I've done here. I have largely spread out, grabbed the missions that interest me, grab the missions that I think will help, and ignore some of the other missions that I just don't care about or I don't want to worry about. You can see that there's definitely some missions that have been left behind on the map, but by and large, you're going to grab whatever you want to grab. So in this case, we have the little green thing being our HQ. So our primary enemy in this game is the robot army. Now they manufacture themselves, and they are entirely bent out to destroy your allied HQ. It has 5 HP, which means you can fail 5 missions. There are other missions which will give you HP back to your headquarters. So don't worry about failing. It's a very difficult game, but don't worry about failing because you can always heal yourself in the futures. Now, we're in a mission here. Just went ahead and saw I went into, I believe, a barricade mission. And we switched over to the science bot. Now, the science bot has really good sensor range. And this is about mid-game into the whole campaign here is what we're showing off. And the upgrades that you can attach to your little mechs. You're running around with little exosuits, your mechs. You can see the 4 of them on the top left side. The upgrades you attach to that changes the different abilities they have. So like the science bot normally has a higher sensor range, but I've maxed it out. So basically I switched to the science bot and I can see the entire map all at once. So I know what to prepare against, what type of enemy robots I'm going to be fighting against. So here I'm going to switch back to the sniper. We're going to go ahead and try and chase down the GAF bot. And oh no, the GAF bot destroyed our mech. But that's okay. Our exosuit will come back later. We lost one. It was sad, but it's not that big of a deal. It automatically puts out a new mech, starting with your top left, and then your top right, bottom left, bottom right is the order that it chooses which mech will come out next. And changing weapons to select new mechs doesn't actually take any actions. Now, there are a lot of those little red dots all over the map here. Those are mines. And you'll see that come into use in a little bit, so I'll get back to it. But you can see big explosions, the area of effects. And here you can see we're zooming in here with just a light machine gun. You can see how it just Boom, just like that. It works great zoomed in, works great zoomed out. Now let's go ahead and jump up top here. We're going to go ahead and use a more advanced weapon you get later in the game. And you see, boom, right there. One of the mines blew up because there was a cloaked enemy that was in the mines. It went ahead and blew himself up. Now, that shield bot right there is protecting this eagle bot so that the shield bot's taking all the damage and the eagle bot's getting closer and closer. So you need to use stuff that'll take big area of effect like that, which will do effectively double damage from what I've encountered, is you will be able to destroy the shield bot much more quickly. And the red line indicates that he could hit us, but we got him just close enough so he couldn't quite get to us. One last thing to show off in the missions, aside from the debris and the fuel tanks, which are explosive, is also the hacking points. So you have a set amount of hacking points that you can get in each mission for each exo based on the equipment you give it. Those are used to open doors most of the time. And behind the doors are usually loot crates. So we went ahead, we grabbed the loot crate, and had one little thing inside of it. So that's one more thing we're going to be bringing back with us. One last thing to show off is stealth. So you can see we are cloaked, and we are moving all the way back. Every movement takes one action of stealth, and then boom, we're out of stealth. You can end it at any time should you wish. Our little mech also has the ability to deploy mines and deploy sentry turrets, so it's something to keep in mind. Overload is what you saw earlier when our sniper mech went ahead and died. And then you can whistle, you can wait for your turn, and then the little green bottom left thing is how much left there is for you to do in the objective. It is what you see when you finish a mission. You get all the loot that you gathered, plus loot for every mech that survived the mission. All of the enemy robots level up. More robots are manufactured for the final battle, which is super intense, and the new areas are unlocked, as I'm highlighting here. So we have unlocked 2 new areas that we can now have access to, and we've unlocked more stuff further down the line that we can get access to that we'll get to in a little bit. So we're back from the mission. We can customize. All the stats are there, and if you hover over any of them, they will have little thumbnails to tell you exactly what they do. And you can see there's lots of different little parts on every little mech. Now, this is an epic mech. This is an epic exosuit. So the epic suits have extra pretty much everything over the normal suits. So this may look super complicated, but we'll go ahead and look at a regular suit here in a minute so you can see that it's actually not that complicated at all. Moving parts in and out is super easy. You saw there, just boom, boom, it's done. You can see all the stat changes down below. It works beautifully. Every single item has a procedurally generated amount of stats that it carries with it, and it's up to you to decide how you want to build your mech. There is no wrong way to build a mech, but I will say explosives are exceedingly useful. Now, this is what a standard mech looks like. Much easier to look at, much less complicated. This is a standard siege mech. You have your sniper mech that we saw earlier, which is a standard sniper mech. Very powerful, absolutely very powerful. And then an epic science mech. Now, you can unlock the epic mechs in missions later throughout the game. They are absolutely worth it. The first opportunity you get to unlock an epic mech, you should absolutely take it. However, starting with epic mechs, I don't think is the smart way to go on your first playthrough. You do want to be able to play with the standard mechs first. Now, if you don't get what you want from random chance, you can always go to the store, and you can buy a variety of different things you can see here. So, I'm eyeing that scope, I'm eyeing this ammo extender, and the slave reactor, which produces power. However, I only have 11,000 credits. So I have to kind of pick and choose, like, what do I want to actually buy? And there's a lot of things that look good. We'll pick up that reactor because more power allows you to add more components onto your exosuits. And then there's only a little bit of money left, 10,000. We can pick one thing. Now, purple's the most powerful, then blue, then green, and then white after that. So we can go ahead and put in our new little thing there. Now, we could just outright replace our scope, which gives us more attack range. Or we can go over to our gamma ray laser, which is our sniper rifle, effectively. And computer, why'd you go to sleep there? That was weird. And we can go ahead and replace the gamma ray laser to make it just that much bigger. Now you can also sort the different items that you have in your inventory. We're gonna go ahead and sort by kind here, but you can sort by a whole slew of different things. And that one right now is sorted based on the components it fits in. So we've got computer, we've got reactor, we've got weapon systems, shield systems, propulsion systems, and so on. So back to the main map, you can see again we've unlocked some new areas, especially the robot command centers, which are the giant satellite dishes, and the factory, which is actually in between them that you can't actually get to. So you have to take in order to get to the factory right there, we have to go through the firefight and then the office building to get to the factory. You destroy the factory, and, well, you can read it for yourself, but most bots end up not leveling up at the end of the day, and that makes the final fight that much easier. A couple last things to go through for the basics of this game. Again, it's an Arkham game, so it's very complicated, lots of stuff in it. You can, we'll just go ahead and go to the main menu here and actually show you what it is to start a new game for the last couple things we'll go through. But you can choose what mechs you want, what exosuits, what character you want, the difficulty, and different special things to make your score better. So there are 6 total mechs or 6 exosuits that you can play with, but there's only 4 that you can take with you. So you have to pick and choose which ones you want. The base 4 replaces the sniper with the ninja. I much prefer the sniper. There are 6 difficulty settings to go with the 6 mechs. I recommend for new players easy. Normal is hard. It was hard for my first playthrough. And then there are 6 different characters you can choose through, each of them giving their own special abilities. I like Tuck. However, every special character has its own little thing. So, one last thing I will say about this game is, as with all Arkham games, the music in this game is phenomenal. But overall, I think I'd go ahead and give it a 7.5 out of 10. 7 for the general gameplay, and an extra 0.5 there for the music, because the music is great. It loses on the achievements. You see there's a stupid amount of achievements, but they're actually all worthless. There's about 40 or so achievements that are meaningful, and then the rest are duplicates, and that is a big downside to me. But overall, I'd say it's a solid game, and I definitely recommend to pick it up. If it looks fun in the little review here, then you should definitely pick it up. So, that's Bionic Dues, guys. So, again, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time with another Take a Peek episode. And DFTBA.